Zach, the batteries are not working. Haverim, before we start the service and before we start bringing out other chairs, let's use all the chairs that we actually have. This line is meant to be for people to be used. So let's try to use what we have. Instead of bringing chairs 6:30, it's time to start Shabbat. Let's use all the chairs that we have. Let's try the exercise of sitting next to each other. Let's make sure that we use the chairs that we actually have placed in the sanctuary in advance. And I invite you to just to find I see chairs there and here and there. Let's use all the chairs that we have. And let's decide that together now we are going to switch into community mood, into Shabbat mood, which actually is Shabbat mode, but in Hebrew is mood.
Da 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 da.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's so good to have this opportunity to share Shabbat in community, to turn the switch that brings us to a completely different place together. And this very special Shabbat of Parashat Hayei Sarah, in which we read the Torah portion about the recognition of the life of Sarah. And we also use this Torah portion and this Shabbat to recognize people among our community, to recognize our volunteers in the American month of gratitude, right? November is the month of gratitude. Now, in our community, gratitude doesn't look like a turkey. It looks like a lot of hard work. And we have many, many wonderful volunteers, and we will recognize and name most of them. We might miss some of them, but we hope that we'll remember most of them. And we will also acknowledge in this evening, we don't have the title, the Volunteer of the Year. We don't want to commit to timelines, but we do want to recognize Lynette. We do want to recognize the very hard work that she has been doing for the last couple of months or years. And so this is a great opportunity to celebrate Shabbat together, to acknowledge the timeline of our lives, and to acknowledge each other. I'd like to invite Lynette and Clara to light Shabbat candles that you can follow on page 120. Please rise. Let's join Lynette and Clara on page 120. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom. You may be seated. We turn now our Sidurim, our prayer books, to page 129. Our rabbis thought that a great way to start Shabbat is by remembering the divine love that gifted us with this wonderful day. So we start our Shabbat service singing from the Song of the Songs, from Shir HaShirim, I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. We're on page 129.
בשושנים תודי לי, אני לא הרואה. בשושנים תודי לי, ואני לא הרואה. בשושנים תודי לי, ואני לא הרואה.
Lechunena la'Adonai. Let's all, with a deep sense of joy, welcome Shabbat. We turn our Sidurim to page 130.
Lechunena, lechunena, lechunena l'Adonai. Lechunena, lechunena, lechunena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, לצור אישנו לקדמת פניו ותודה. נריע, נריע, לצור אישנו בזמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. נריע, נריע, לצור אישנו נקדמת פניו ותודה. נריע, נריע, לצור אישנו בזמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני.
In Shabbat we try to reconnect with the idea that we have the ability to sing new songs, to shir chadash, that we have the ability to transform ourselves if we just try. On page 131, Shir LaAdonai. LaAdonai,
שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, אסרו מיום ליום, ישועתו, ספרו בגויים, כבודו, בכל העמים, נפלאותיו. כי גדול אדוני, ומהלל מאוד, נורא הוא, על כל אלוהים, כי כל אלוהים אלילים, ואדוני שמיים עשה, עוד דבר לפניו, עוז ותפארת למקדשו. יום לילה, ישמחו השמיים ותג אל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו, יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. So sing Shabbat Shalom. 2 words. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Once again. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Turn our Sidurim to page 134. Sambrula Adonai. Let our souls become a song.
Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, v'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar. Hariyu lifnei hamelech Adonai.
Yiram hayamuno, tevel v'yoshvei ba.
Aidai neharat imcha chaf chaf yachad harim yeraneinu nifnei Adonai kiva
Yishpot haaretz,
yishpot tevel b'tzedek ve'amim b'meisharim.
Yiram hayamuno, tevel v'yoshvei ba. Aidai neharat, imcha uchaf, haf yachad, harim yeraneinu.
Kaf yachad harim yeraneinu.
We now turn our Sidurim to page 138 to welcome Shabbat, the bride. We sing here at TVT the first, the second, the fifth, the sixth, and the ninth verses of Lecha Dodi. And by the last one, by the ninth, we will stand up and turn toward the gates of the synagogue. And if you close your eyes, you might be able to see the bride, to see the queen, to see the sacred presence of Shabbat coming into our midst.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi,
Dodi lecha,
dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
שהמור וסחור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי, לך אדוני לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Lecha ראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה קהילה לך דודי
לך דודי לקראת כלה ונשבת נקרבה
לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי היא באורך קומי אורי 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 שתדברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי
לך דודי לקראת כלה
ושבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקלמי מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי בך יחסו עניי עמי ונבנתה יראתי לה לך דודי
לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת
נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוכם עולה עם סגולה בואי כלה בואי כלה לך דודי
דודי לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה
לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה
While you're standing, we invite you to take a moment to walk to each other and to say Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, to acknowledge each other's presence. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
I don't have much room here.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Look at you, Friday night. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Hear from that man. I think he turned it up.
The righteous. I invite you to, we need you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We continue with our service on page 140. The righteous flourish like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in the courts of our God. We are on page 140 for Tzadik Katamar.
Tzadik Katamar Yifrach Ke'erez B'Levanon Yizkeh Shetuli Bevet Adonai Bechatrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvon Veseva Deshenim Raganim Iyu Lehahi Ki Asher Adonai Zuri Velo Avla Tabo.
Page 144.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, באלמד יברך ירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכם וביומכם ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולם בעלמיה. יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשם לעילה מן כה ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירה ועמה ואמרו אמן.
We're on page 146. Please rise as we ask for the gates of prayer to open within and before us.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
You may be seated. We are on page 148. Let's read together in English.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Arabim. I invite you to turn the page and to close your eyes for a moment. Our tradition teaches us that before the Shema, we should find a way to recognize that which is beautiful, wonderful for us in our own world. We are supposed to close our eyes and at the same time look around and recognize the presence of beauty and love in our lives. In this evening of Shabbat, I invite you to take a moment to think about those things that are wonderful in your world. Those things that make you feel deeply loved. Try to picture at least one of them. And as we get closer to the Shema once again, try to let that presence, that picture, become a light. And let that light surround you to a level in which you can breathe it. Focus for a moment in your breath, on your breath. Breathe in and out. As you breathe in, try to bring that love into your chest. And as you breathe out, let the things that don't need to be with you in this Shabbat, let those things that you don't want to carry with you into your Shabbat experience go away. And once again, breathe in and out. Just take a deep breath.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
We say, dear God, never remove your love from us. Don't ever let our perception from those things that are beautiful, wonderful, those things that make us feel deeply loved, go away from us. אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Amen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please join me on page 154 for Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'otecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha b'derech ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת אמת אמון הכל סוד וקיים עלינו כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו ואנחנו ישראל עמו. We continue with the silent reading over page 156. When your children witnessed your presence, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices with joy. Who is like you, O God? Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai. We're on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא עושה פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע הים לפני משה מרים מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע הים לפני משה מרים צאלי אנו ועמנו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. לי 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 Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Israel. Amen.
We turn our Sidurim to page 161. We think about creating shelters of protection, shelters of love. Let there be love.
Let there be love. friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Shkivenu
Ashkivenu
Adonai
Adonai
Eloheinu
Eloheinu leshalom leshalom Ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim ufros aleinu sukat shomecha
Ashkivenu
Ashkivenu
Adonai Eloheinu
Eloheinu leshalom leshalom
Ashkivenu
and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter
Let
from
there be
love
love
and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל, בעל ירושלים. And as we get closer to the Amidah, we say, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לדורותם ברית עולם. We remember the covenant, the eternal covenant between the people of Israel and God to keep Shabbat in order to let Shabbat keep us alive. And we remember that on the seventh day, God ceased from his work or her work and created Shabbat, a soul for the entire world. Please rise. And on page 164, we turn toward Jerusalem in order to start Filat Amidah. You can follow the words of our tradition, and you can also try to find the words of your heart, the prayer of your heart, Filah Shebalev. Adonai, Sefatav yiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. ברוך אתה פונה, שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם, אדוני מחיים את מטרה, לא ראשית. אתה קידשת דיום השמיים? Shalom, Rolis. ולרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני, צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. You're at the bottom of page 180.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
After asking for shalom, praying for peace, we turn our Sidurim to page 371. We think of those that are dealing with illness within their bodies, in their souls. We think of those dealing with addictions. And if you have a name that you'd like to share in this evening of Shabbat, please do so as I point in your direction. I just want to acknowledge that I hear voices in the sanctuary that are not children voices. Children voices are fine. But adult voices, when we are actually trying to focus, when we are trying to direct our prayers to people that are dealing with illness and trying to acknowledge those that are carrying in their hearts the illness with them, that's not okay. So let's leave the conversation that you're having with the person sitting next to you. Let's try to focus just for a few moments in the conversation that we are trying to create together.
das spielen.
On page 371, we bring our voices and our hearts together for those names that were mentioned and for those names that we brought in our hearts. Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Lekor HaBracha Le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imoteinu Lekor HaBracha La'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We wish to all of them refuah shlema ve'achlama meira, a complete and a fast recovery. Amen. Good Shabbos, everyone. Good Shabbos.
It's giving me a hard time when I'm trying to play guitar, but when I'm trying to talk to you, I think it will be helpful to have it next to me. So, we are reading this week Parashat Hayei Sarah, and as we discussed last week, every time that the Torah says that it's going to talk about the life of someone's life, it actually means that that person died. So the Torah portion starts by stating that Sarah was 120. Kol hakavod. Very good. So 127 years old when she died. Now, there are many things. Again, children voices, great. Please don't bother them. Adult voices, those we don't like. So, there are many stories in this Torah portion, but for the purpose of our Shabbat, I want to share with you 3 moments in this Torah portion. So, Sarah died, and Abraham calls his servant. And he says to his servant, there's a weird situation there. The Torah says that Abraham is very old. He calls his servant and says, put your hand in my leg. He's trying to create a real connection. He's trying to talk to him and say, I need you to listen to me. The servant says, of course I listen to you. And then he says, I need you to find a match for my son, which is a parent concern, always. I need to find a match for my son, but no one of the girls that we have here around us, I need you to go back to where we came from to Sarah's home and to find a kala, a bride, for my son. Now, for some reason, apparently, Isaac and Abraham weren't talking to each other at that moment. What? He tried to kill him a few verses ago. But so he said, but you know, look at Abraham, right? He keeps caring about his son, and he sends his servant. And all this to talk about this moment in which his servant starts the journey back to the land that they came from. Now, the rabbis explained that the journey was supposed to take 17 days. And first miracle of the story, it takes just 3 hours. Like chick-chack, 3 hours, the servant is there. And now there was no traffic. Yeah, right. And he had some money and camels, and because this wasn't just a servant. He was Abraham's senior servant. He was a real follower of Abraham. And he was given a very important task. And there's a scene there that looks like the fiddler on the roof, in which he opens in conversation with God. The servant starts a conversation with God. I don't think that there is in the Torah, before this situation, any prayerful situation. Any situation in which someone looks up, or whatever, to God and asks for something. And what does he ask for? He asks for his master. He says, "Dear Lord, my master has been so faithful to you. He has proved again and again how much he loves you, how much he supports you. And all what he wants is a kala, a bride for his son. And you will show to him how much you care for him if you actually help me out. You help him out to find a wonderful, a beautiful, a kind kala for his son." And probably the servant had in the back of his mind the fact that Isaac just lost his mother. And his mother was everything for him. We'll learn about that later on in the Torah portion. And he says, "I wish for a kala that wouldn't just take care of people, but also of my animals." Here's the second miracle in the Torah portion. The Torah says that as he's saying, "I want a kala for Isaac, a bride for Isaac who will not just give me food because I'm a stranger in the middle of my way and a journey, a very long journey, 3 hours. And not just that she will take care of me, but also will take care of my camels, etc., etc., etc." And then Rebecca shows up. He doesn't know who Rebecca is. She was very, very young. Don't ask how young she was. Now, she was very young. She was very, very young. She shows up. And she says, "Here is water for you." They were in the well, okay? "Here's water for you. Here's food for you." And immediately after that, she starts to give water to the camels. And he says, "Bingo!" Bingo. And then I'll give you the end of the story, but for us, this is the end of the story. The end of the story is that he actually checks, and she was the daughter of Bethuel. The daughter of Bethuel, so it ended up, it was a good match for her, for Abraham, and they get married, as you know, and she became one of our mothers. But the story that I want to share is between these two people. The servant, who has no name for now, and Rebecca. Now, the servant is not asking for himself when he prays. He's not saying, "God, please help me out, because otherwise my master will kill me." His prayer has a completely different subject. He's saying, "Please help him out. He deserves to be recognized. He deserves your support. He's completely selfless. Maybe because of that, he does not have a name in the Torah portion. He's asking for his master, and he's so kind and generous. And not just that he is kind and generous, what is he asking for? He's asking for a kind and generous bride. And it turns out that Rebecca is a very kind and generous Kala, a very kind and generous bride. Now, one more interesting aspect, and the last one, is the Torah doesn't give a name to Abraham's servant. Who does that? Say the rabbis. The rabbis do. The rabbis always do. Every time that we miss something in the Torah, the rabbis take care of that. Now, that's why we love them so much. Now, the rabbis give him a very special name. His name is Eliezer. Eliezer. You have one in your family. Now, the meaning of the word Eliezer is Eli, my God, Azar, helped. My God helped. Now, I want to bring this story to some closure. The interesting thing about God's help is that God's help most of the time doesn't look like a miracle coming from heaven. It looks like people. It looks like selfishless people that truly care. Well, selfless, sorry. I appreciate that, Gabi. I also like your voice. Now, it looks like selfless people that really, really care and think about others and have the ability to pray for others and have the ability to really go into journeys just because they really want to help. It's not that God is helping from heaven. God is helping every time that someone says, I am here for you. That's why when we try to comfort mourners, we say, Amakom Yenachem, may the place console you. And that's one of the names of God. And when we say the place, and we use that name of God, we are not referring to God in heaven. We are referring to our community. We are referring to the God that comes out of relationships, of people saying to each other, I'm here for you. But those people sometimes don't have a name, as in our Torah portion. And then we need the system, the rabbis, to give them names, because they make the entire story possible. They are the main players of the story. And that's how, between Eliezer and Rebecca, we have the continuity of our tribe. And we are doing that tonight. We are trying to give names to the people that constantly work in our congregation, and they every time that we need them say, I am here, I am here, I am here. And they are partners in the enterprise of creating community. We are naming each of you. We are saying Lynette, we are saying Alice and David, we are saying Henry, Antea, and Mark. We're going to say all your names in a moment, you'll see. Because each of you says very often, Ineni, and each of you, with your support, presence, and love, promise the continuity of our shared enterprise. So that's why we want to acknowledge you in this Shabbat, and that is why it's such an important thing for us to do. Because you say Ineni, and so we want to say Ineni tonight. So I'd like to invite all the staff. We have credentials. And Alice and David prepare treats. We need 3 inside credentials. And this is how it's going to work. Okay. It's going to work. We are featuring one volunteer. We are going to acknowledge you at the end, Lynette. And, but every time that we say your name, or every time you hear your name, and you might hear your name more than once, please rise, okay? Not yet, when we say your name. Now, I want to share with you how this worked. So the staff, we sat together once or twice, and we say, okay, let's list the people that have helped you over the last year. So we made the list, and the way in which we made that list, even if you're a board member, the things that we remember is, of course we remember your work in the board of the congregation. But the things that came to our minds were, I remember that this and that helped me out when we needed to do this and that. And or this person changed a light bulb a day it was very dark. Those are the things that we remember and they came to our minds. So, and one more thing. Every time we finish a list, we realized that we were missing someone. And then we added one more and one more and one more. If for some reason you recognize someone that we have missed, or you recognize that we have missed you, move your fingers and we will know why and we will acknowledge you. Okay? So, and each of us has volunteers that we will acknowledge together. And so Gabby and I will read as soon as I find the list. Gabby. No, they stay on where they are, and we bring them candy, and come here, and we bring the certificate, so everybody come here. So I want to also, before we start, so I want to acknowledge Alice and David that prepared, can you give me one? That prepared this incredible gift. They were yesterday until the middle of the night making these beautiful presents for all of you. What? What? We will read it soon. We will, David. Like my timing. Well, okay, they are there. Wait. Not yet. Okay, everyone. Take a moment, everyone. This is under control. Okay, Gabby, just let me control this. And we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Here we go. So, all those that volunteer in the office, Zach, we start with you. So, we want to acknowledge Mitch Shapiro for coordinating ice cream for Slichot and Men's Club volunteers to patrol the perimeter at high holidays. You can cheer.
Tracy Green for shopping for Onyx supplies and buying all of the High Holidays challah.
And Tracy's not here, but Eileen Cohen is going to receive it for her. We want to acknowledge Mark Silverstein for coordinating honors and major details of High Holidays. Where is Mark? And Mark is we don't have it here, but Mark is our forever Gabby for all the work that you do on Saturday mornings.
Lila Pesner for coordinating honors, helping with the High Holidays, tickets, and other various major details of High Holidays, as well as cleaning silver and helping in the office.
These two come together. Mark Goodman and Les Sussman for helping with everything and with facility and maintenance tasks. Where is it?
Barbara Levine for putting together the scrolls so they can be sent out.
Talk about the Barbara. Mindy Gladstein for helping with the High Holidays mailing and cleaning out the office copier room. That was a huge task. And she's also our Vice President of Education. All the educational program that you experience at TBT has her hand there.
Steve Velasco for cleaning silver and helping coordinate office administration strategy.
Okay, and we have Owen, Teresa, and Jimmy Sang for staying late and helping clean up from Tashlich. That was a huge thing. And we also acknowledge for that same task also the Kirchens, Alice and David. Where are you guys? Please stand up. Woo! They also help, and between many other things that they do, But that came immediately to our minds. Thank you for staying so late and helping out. Gary Gruber.
Oh, Gary Gruber for always greeting at services.
Lisa Barbaric for coordinating all security for high holidays and other events and for organizing our gift shop and second Friday of the month, Shabbat, cheese, wine and cheese.
Eileen Cohen for sending out handwritten personalized tributes to congregants. Woo!
Mitch Goldberg. For serving on the award-winning Legacy Committee.
How do you pronounce the last name?
Judy Kansigor.
Judy Kansigor for putting together caring community goodie bags.
Again, remember that we are just picking one or two things, but there are many things that we recognize that you have done and you do for our congregation all the time. We're going to go to Rachel's list. You're waiting for a candy? You can sit. So when you get your thing, you can sit. Then we're going to ask you, because otherwise you will be standing forever. Now, Mindy, thank you so much for standing for so long. Okay. In Havaya School, we have Evelyn Bell, who is our former Vice President of Education, for help coordinating the costume set and props for the Purim Spiel for the last 2 years, coordinating our projects with our children and her support for our educational programs during her time as educational VP.
Woo.
Terry Applebaum.
Terry Applebaum for her help and support with the Purim Spiel and Back to School Shabbat, as well as her input on various Chavaya activities.
Woo. Woo. Beth Ann for creating the Abdallah once every other month event and for running that for us and bringing families together and for being our Vice President of Congregational Engagement.
Susan Schultz for her help creating the Purim Spiel programs the past 2 years.
Woo.
Woo!
Where is Susan? Thea Reed for her input and help creating goodie bags for our children at Back to School Shabbat and helping to create special TBT backpacks and T-shirts and many other things. She is the president of the congregation.
Lauren Simon?
Simon.
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 Lauren Simon. For her constant support of our educational programs, including but not limited to teaching in Chavaya, hosting parent happy hours, and opening her home for family Havdalahs.
Yeah, this
Thank
is
you.
Chavaya's recognition, okay? Robin Scopis. Where is she? Is she here? She's not here. Never forgive her for that. For volunteering to help set up snack during Ulpan on Wednesdays and her input and help with Back to School Shabbat.
Anne and John Goldman for Kol Nidre at Youth Services during the High Holy Days. Woo!
John Goldman, the other one, for blowing the shofar in all High Holiday services, youth, taught, and grown-ups High Holiday services. Thank you very much, John. Here you go, Gabby.
Here I go.
Yes, wait a second, you can read all of you.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
And you can say their names. I don't know what's you.
Then I need my folder back.
She needs her folder.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I would like to thank my whole Kol Tikvah choir family for helping to create a joyful and prayerful experience at Kol Tikvah Shabbat services, and for guiding our congregation in meaningful prayer during our High Holy Day services. Thank you all.
Why don't you thank all your people first?
Yeah. And I would also like to thank my Torah readers for being on hand to read Torah beautifully every week and for helping my transition into Torah portion coordinator be a smooth one. Thank you.
So please, if you're a Torah reader, please rise. Mar.
Okay.
And if you are Kol Tikvah, please rise. Thank you so much. So I want to thank. I got a few too. So I have. Are you done with yours?
No.
Okay. But with your list, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I start with mine. So
David.
I want to acknowledge Ronnie Henderson for all your help and support in creating and bringing healthy and wonderful new practices, operational practices, and administrative practices to TBT. Mr. Cohen, thank you. For all the work you do. Cindy Jacobson, she's not here, but we want to thank her a lot for all the work and all her participation in all different areas of our congregation. Ruthie Honey, I want to acknowledge. She's not here. It's her son's birthday. Among other things, Ruthie came to cook for an 80 people event with less than a week notice. It's very appreciated. I want to thank also my friend Rabbi Art Levine for his constant help and partnership in creating educational opportunities for our congregation. We wish to him refuah shlema. I want to acknowledge the president of the congregation for her participation, Lawrence Simon, please rise again, for her participation in all areas of the congregation and her almost immediate yes when she is invited, call, or wherever else to help and to show up in our congregation. Jesse? Is Jesse here? He might be, we're going to get to Zach. So I want to acknowledge also Jesse Richter for all his sound work and support. And that was the last one in my list. Now, if we have missed someone, we just want to tell you that we just missed. It doesn't mean that we don't count your work. It doesn't mean that we don't recognize your work. It means that we just missed. We asked many people to tell us and to check on us. So if you feel we miss you, please let us know, and we would love to acknowledge you and to thank you for all the work that you do. Ari, we miss you. You see, for your help in the Purim Spiel 2 years ago. And you see, and Rona also. You are such a great help to our congregation. You make my English a bit more clear. So our gratitude never ends. And we want to now, I want to invite our president, Lawrence Simon. And before we acknowledge Lynette, we need you to take a microphone. You have a microphone there? No, we need you to take a microphone. Yes. So. That's true. You see, here the congregation, Max Lit, also, for all the firework work that you do. You see? What?
And the cans and recycling.
And the cans and recycling. You see, we miss all the time, and thank you for bringing that up. We almost forgot it. Thank you. So I just want to say, before, I wasn't supposed to talk, but I just want to say something about Lynette. I want to share my first memory with Lynette. So, and Lynette, this is so meaningful in the context of the Torah portion. I came to TBT about 5 years ago to be interviewed. I was put by Alice Kirshen in the room for like 10 hours a day. But we made sure, no, and I thank you for that. And we made sure that I met probably all the congregants of any congregation in Orange County. It wasn't limited. I left TBT thinking that we have 1,000 families. Now, so I was there for many, many hours, and every time that I stopped talking, Lynette was standing there bringing me water. And again, water, and again, water. And I remember, the story of Rebecca, that she brought water to Eleazar. And I remember when I came back to TBT, after all these months, I went back to Singapore, I came back to TBT, and I looked at her, and the first thing I thought was water. Which is such an essential thing. And you are so essential to our community, and you bring so much life as water does to our community. So.
Thank you. Do you want to stay there, or do you want to come up here?
Come
You sure?
here,
I could.
Come here.
We'll cry together. Come up here. Sorry, my back is to you guys. My speeches are short and sweet, as many of you know. And we're probably both going to cry at some point during this. So, okay. We'll see. Lynette. There aren't enough words. I remember when we initially started talking about who should organize Miriam's gala, and you were the first person to come to mind. Not just because of the special relationship you have with Miriam, but because when you give with all of your heart. Not to mention you're an expert organizer. You put together a gorgeous affair. The food was phenomenal. The decorations were a delight. Like that alliteration right there. I know that it wasn't an easy task, but you knocked it out of the park. And on top of that, you successfully raised over $80,000 for TBT. That's pretty impressive. That's a lot of money. But it's not just the gala. You are one of the first people to always step up and help. Anything we ask, well, almost anything. And one of the most important things that you do for our community, and I'm totally biased in this, but I'm allowed to be, that's why I'm the president, is that you are the unofficial bubby or grandma to all of the little ones. I remember a few months ago at a family service, I wasn't there yet because, as always, I'm coming from the hospital, and you stepped in to provide love to my Eli Lazar, who was upset about a fight with some of his friends. Later that night, when retelling the story with all of his now 7-year-old wisdom, he told me that he had been very upset, and the lady who's like his grandma helped him and cuddled him when he was sad. To me, that is what makes you our not volunteer of the year, because we're not using a time frame, but our volunteer. That makes you, I'll say decade, we're at the end of the decade here, so I'll call you volunteer of our decade for now. Thank you for everything that you have done and will continue to do, because we'll ask. We all love you a whole lot. That's it. I have one more thing. So one of the great things about being smart is that I don't always have the answers, but I know who to ask for the right answers, which in this case was Miriam. So we were kind of trying to come up with some type of gift to give to Lynette. I was like, what can we give her? She's got a beautiful granddaughter. What is there? So I heard about a collection you have. Oh my God. Well, a Jewish one. Which one? Of menorahs, Hanukkot. And I know that your birthday month is December, which is some combination of blue, topaz, or a bunch of other blue things. So we, the congregation, got you this beautiful blue menorah, it's Hanukkah, to add to your collection.
It's glamorous.
It's very glamorous.
So you are.
It's so neat.
Just like you. And Miriam definitely helped me pick out the design, but that's for you, because we love you.
Thank you so much. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Lauren was in my preschool. So
The one here.
The one here. So I've known her almost her whole life.
Mm-hmm. Which tomorrow will be 35 years.
No.
Yeah, it's a long time. And then we also, for you, Nico, will take over this part.
We want to give you
Oh, you have a mic.
Oh, it's
a certificate of recognition and candy. and the candy says, we are grateful for your involvement in Temple Beth Tikvah. And then volunteers like you are life savers.
Oh, that's so cute. Thank you so much.
That's for you.
Thank you. And can I just say one more
Yes,
thing?
we want you to say a couple of words. Can you hold the microphone?
I don't know if I can hold it. I'm kind of shaking. Okay. I just want to say how wonderful it is that I have my whole family here with us. And it includes my in-laws, and by marriage, I guess that's what an in-law is, and Bob, who gave up part of the house for the gala, and for all of my friends that are here, my dearest friends from college, and Laura, it's so good to see you. And I just wanted to acknowledge my mother, because my mother is who taught me to be a part of the Jewish community, because she was always in sisterhood, and she was a BBG advisor, and my father was an AZA advisor, and she was always at the temple, which meant I was always at the temple. And so I just wanted to say a thank you to my mother, and thank you to all, because everyone that's here has seen my Manny face, which is my dad's face, when I'm unhappy. Where's Zachary? He can attest, he's seen the Manny face lately. So, but thank you all for coming, and thank you for all the volunteers. And I'm going to go sit down.
An interesting thing is that we don't have any blessing in the Torah that acknowledges volunteers. But the rabbis, well, they don't acknowledge volunteers either, but they said, they made this very interesting statement. They said, Rabbi Yirmiyah said, the one occupied with the needs of the community is like one who is occupied with matters of Torah. So please rise. We're going to open our Sidurim on page 376. And I will say, and you can repeat after me, Amen. You can say after me, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, betzivanu la'asok betzorchei tzibur. How full of blessing you are, eternal one, our God, majesty of the universe, who has consecrated us with your commandments and commanded us to occupy ourselves with the needs of community. And now together in page 376, I'd like to invite Lynette to open the ark as we will move from this blessing into Aleinu Leshabeach. Not yet. You have a difficult time. So we say together as the ark opens, source of all being, may the children of this community learn this passion from us. Love of Torah, please join me. Devotion in prayer and support of the needy.
May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction. And may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding. And may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod.
May we always find the divine presence in the faces and in the words of those that say, here I am for you, in any. We turn our Sidurim to page 586 for Aleinu Leshabeach.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא זמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המון העם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. At this point of our service, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning Shiva, please rise. If you are during the first 30 days of mourning Shloshim, please rise and share with us who you're remembering. Thank you. Thank you. If you are during the cycle of the first year of mourning, please rise. If you have a yahrzeit this week, please rise. Now we can support our fellows who are standing or sitting, joining with our voices and hearts for Mourners Kaddish on page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שם הרבה.
אמן.
בעלמא תברא חירותה וימליך מלכותה. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן.
אמן.
יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. דע מירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה. בחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום באמרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be living blessing in your life. יהא זכרם ברוך. You may be seated. So I like to, as I'm speaking, I like to invite and ask our friends from religious practices to start to distribute some wine for Kiddush. We are going to conclude our service with a Kiddush and a song. You can turn your Sidurim to page 142. 142. And please rise. Please rise. I want to give you a break, a moment. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bechoni l'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zitchem l'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 122, page 122. ויחולו השמיים בארץ בכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי וחברותיי.
לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
We'd like to invite you, as you are standing, to try to connect with each other. You can look at each other, you can hold hands, you can embrace each other if you feel comfortable doing so. We conclude our service thinking about the fact that here people have a name, that our community is our attempt to create a society in which we recognize each other. So let's once again take a look at each other. Let's look at each other and say Shabbat Shalom. And let's say how good and how beautiful it is for all of us to be here together and to celebrate Shabbat. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im, shevet achim gam yachad.
מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד.
אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. May God give us the courage and the strength to create wholeness, to create peace. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם
It's okay, I'm not that hungry.